Today, we're diving into a popular post from the Reddit titled as, "Redneck thinks it's funny to yank out mailboxes. My dad makes him pay." This post received 17,681 upvotes. Posted by deleted user. The post reads as follows. Disclaimer. This happened a long time ago, but still makes me giggle to this day. So way back in the day, mid-90s or so, my family lived in a log cabin on 10 acres of land in a rural area 10 minutes or so out of town. It wasn't totally the sticks, but you could definitely hear banjo music in the background sometimes. At the end of our nearly 1/4 mile long driveway was one of those roads that was also technically a state highway. In the AM I'd trudge down to wait for the bus. When I got home I'd grab the mail and carry it back. Until one Monday morning when I went out and noticed the mailbox was gone. On closer inspection looked like it had just been ripped out of the ground. Dad was obviously not pleased. He went to talk with the county sheriff who happened to live a mile down the road. Turns out it had been happening up and down the road for months. Someone was tossing a chain over mailboxes and yanking them out with their vehicle. He suspected a guy down the road with his great big lifted 4WD truck, but couldn't prove anything. Usually happened on Sat and Sun nights with people finding out in the morning. Also seems the nicer the mailbox the bigger a target, and many had been hit multiple times. People had tried digging deeper, using more durable wood, etc. The guy just took it as a challenge and ripped them out again. Soft, sandy ground and his truck was a monster. Well, Dad said challenge fucking accepted. A bit about my father. He's a steelworker with an engineering background and graduate degree. Built like a bear with forearms the size of my fricking legs. Most people looking at him would never think this monster of a man is also brilliant, but he is. The calm, cool type that almost never loses his temper. But wrong him and God help you. So Dad goes to Lowe's and buys the fanciest, prettiest mailbox they sell. He then proceeds to install it on top of an 8 feet long cylinder of 3 inches diameter hardened tool steel. But he wasn't done there. After digging down with post holers and dropping it in, he then filled it in with quickset concrete. To really sell it he then used some strips of 1/2 wood to cover the steel core of his now indestructible mailbox of doom. Primed and painted them so it looked like a standard 4 inches post. And even had my mom decorate it with flowers and such. He wanted it to be as tempting of a target as possible. Didn't even take a week. I went out for school in the morning and found the mailbox right where it should be. Attached to it was 30 feet of chain and an entire hitch assembly. Ripped right off the truck's frame, sheared the bolts. It was marvelous to behold. Sheriff gets called over, dies laughing when he sees it. He went to the house of the guy that was suspected and sure enough verified the damage to his truck matched. Fun fact. Fucking with a mailbox is a federal crime. As in you go to federal prison, not those cushy state places. Dad was unofficially rewarded by the sheriff's department with a few cases of beer and some venison. And after that every deputy in town would flash him a thumbs up whenever they saw him. TLDR. Guy was pulling out mailboxes with a chain attached to his truck. Dad makes Invincible mailbox. Guy goes to federal prison. Edit. Apparently vandalism to mailboxes is far more common than I thought, and other people have taken similar measures. I guess great minds think alike. Edit 2. As many have commented, apparently federal prison is actually a lot better than state. Didn't know that. Sorry. A comment from user Antisocialite says, "That is awesome. Your dad is a rock star." This comment received 2865 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, "He is indeed, it was glorious." This reply received 1097 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, "I'd say he's more of a metal star." This reply received 3 upvotes. A comment from user deleted user says, "Deleted." This comment received 543 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, "Apparently Invincible mailboxes are a common thing. Never would have thought." This reply received 158 upvotes. A comment from user GregRover96 says, "In my town, buttheads would hit the mailboxes with baseball bats while driving down the road. My neighbor filled his with concrete and waited. That night while we sat on the porch, here comes the local dumbasses, and wham! Screech and crash. The driver hit the box and when the bat came back on him it knocked the steering wheel out of his hands and he crashed into a tree, destroying his mom's car. Oops. 2 days later we see him riding past on a skateboard with his arm in a cast." This comment received 1334 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, "I never thought messing with mailboxes was such a huge thing." This reply received 422 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, "We had a rash of mailbox baseball when I was a kid. One of my friends lived with his grandfather who was a retired shop welder. After his mailbox got destroyed he fabbed up one using fairly thick steel, all welded with outer dimensions the same as a shitty riveted mailbox and painted it black. They found a broken wooden bat next to it a few days later. They never caught the person who did it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he broke his arm." This reply received 3 upvotes. A comment from user mistakes were made here says, "My grandpa did something similar from stories he told me. Him and his wife just moved into a new neighborhood in the 60s and quickly settled in and got to know their neighbors well. One day their mailbox got the axe and was plowed over with tire tracks and all. Being the carpenter he built one out of a dense wood sunk 10 feet down and hollowed to put a cast iron pipe inside filled with concrete. Then he decorated it with little shrubs and tacked cypress planks to it to give it a flimsy facade. A few days passed and one night at 6 a.m. a loud bam followed by screeching metal, a teenager cursing at the sky, woke the neighborhood. The mailbox was in the engine bay and the front of the car unrecognizable. Behind the totaled vehicle a trail of battered mailboxes and tire streaks lined the block. Victory at last. The cops hauled the boy away and towed the wreckage away never to be seen again. A week later his business was booming from people all over town wanting a custom mailbox. To this day he never corrected the tilted mailbox as a reminder of his victory. He is around today, but a few of his mailboxes are still around the city to this day. My house included. This comment received 243 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, "What a great story, and nice to know his mailboxes are still around." This reply received 6 upvotes. A comment from user Mago says, "Please tell me that your dad who gee that bumper like a trophy deer above the fireplace." This comment received 120 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, "It was taken as evidence unfortunately." This reply received 99 upvotes. A comment from user Goodwood says, "This is a classic. I've seen this story repeated a few times. It's even appeared in media. In an episode of ~CSI Ghost Whisperer. Thanks, you, Verdant Crimson. Some kids were playing mailbox baseball and the bat bounced off a concreted mailbox post and rebounded, hitting the guy in the back seat of the convertible square in the head, killing him." This comment received 205 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, "I'm learning from the comments that apparently this type of thing is really common, which blows my mind." This reply received 116 upvotes. A comment from user Examnus says, "My dad used to be a mailman. This was years ago. I'm old. He retired in the 1990s. I can remember growing up. He used to talk about the things that were against the law regarding mail and mailboxes. Guess what? Your mailbox isn't yours. You can go down to Lowe's or Home Depot, spend whatever you want on the mailbox, install it, decorate it up. But officially, the mailbox legally belongs to the post office. That's why tampering with it is a federal crime. It's federal property. And so is the mail. Open someone else's mail. You could go to prison. Peek at someone else's Christmas card. By getting it out of the mailbox and looking, yep, prison. Even mailmen are not immune. There have been cases of mailmen failing to deliver the mail in a timely manner, intentionally. They can get 20 years for that. More than murder. The laws may or may not be the same as they used to be. But if anyone ever hassles with your mail or your mailbox, the post office takes that very seriously, and they have their own investigative team that will look into it. This comment received 215 upvotes. A comment from user n_ormy says, I feel like I've seen this exact same story somewhere before. This comment received 453 upvotes. A comment from user Andrew V says, there's been a few stories similar, it makes sense though. My hillbilly distant family would do that baseball bat knocking mailboxes off or just running over shit in their beater trucks when I was younger and went to visit them. I think the story you're thinking about. They replaced the box with like heavy concrete so when they went to break it, they smashed their front end. I think there was also a story on here where someone's family snowman kept getting run over on their lawn, so the next time they built it was over top a fire hydrant, or some concrete post or something. This comment received 432 upvotes. In response, the original author deleted user replied, Big tree stump. https://www.wptv.com/news/local-news/water-cooler/frosties-revenge-snowman-built-on-tree-a-lesson. This reply received 241 upvotes. A comment from user nobody_really__ says, my brothers used lead pipe, trampoline springs, a tractor inner tube, and a scoop shovel to build a catapult. Launched 10 pounds of sheep poop into the offender's vehicle. I might type it up and post it. This comment received 83 upvotes. A comment from user poo_finger says, I've known a few country folk straight fill a mailbox with concrete to teach the kids playing mailbox baseball a lesson. Don't fuck with country folk. They aren't as simple as you think. This comment received 216 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, I've heard that one too. This reply received 59 upvotes. A comment from user Cafe Silver says, my dad is also super smart but definitely not big and burly. We're Jews. So when my mom witnessed the shithead neighborhood kids taking a baseball bat to our mailbox one summer evening, we did what most Jews would do. We calmly asked those kids' parents to pay for a replacement. When they inevitably said no, we sued them in small claims court. Pretty much a he said, she said situation. Mom said she saw the kids do it. Kids that did it and their parents said they didn't do it. We won because they are stupid and couldn't get their story straight. Their story. The kids were in one of their basements watching a movie. The kids were questioned individually and when one was giving testimony the others weren't present. My mom, being the clever gal she is, asked the first kid, what movie were you watching? Kid answers, Ninja Turtles. Second kid gives testimony. Mom asks the same question. Kid answers, Free Willy. Third kid's answer, Jurassic Park. I wasn't in the court when this all happened, but apparently the judge audibly giggled and sighed. Then found in favor of my parents. Stupid thing is, my parents just wanted a simple cheap mailbox replacement which would have been maybe $60 for the post, box, and concrete. Yes, we're Jews, but my dad could have at least handled that. Instead, my parents got the most expensive mailbox post possible, the fanciest mailbox possible, and hired someone else to install it. $500 for the materials and $500 in damages. So instead of just paying the $60 my parents asked for, the court made them pay $1,000. This comment received 83 upvotes. A comment from user ice_bear says, someone thought it was funny bashing my grandma's mailbox. Bought a new one. Bought a price of stovepipe that fit just right into it. Filled the cavities with concrete inside the mailbox, leaving the hole empty for mail. Put extra reinforcements on the post too. It'll ring the bell of anybody that tries to smash it again, guaranteed. This comment received 73 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, I'm really getting floored by how common it is for people to fuck with mailboxes. Never thought it was such a thing. This reply received 26 upvotes. A comment from user Muffins O Plenty says, This may be the first time I've seen it's used correctly in about a month. This comment received 102 upvotes. A comment from user deleted user says, Mom is an English professor. It was drilled into me. This comment received 101 upvotes. In response, the original author deleted user replied, It's nice to see there's still some people who know how to speak English right. This reply received 39 upvotes. A comment from user deleted user says, This is brilliant. This comment received 32 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, One of my fondest childhood memories. I think it's the only time I've ever seen my father literally giggle. This reply received 37 upvotes. A comment from user Dongus Maximus says, So what happened the guy? This comment received 4 upvotes. A reply from user deleted user says, All we heard was that he was sentenced to some amount of time in federal prison given the large monetary damage he had caused to government property, aka mailboxes. Don't know the details. Maybe he managed to plead out or get parole or something. This reply received 11 upvotes.